Welcome to the VAPSI. Welcome to biology. Okay. First question. When the vascular cambium is present in between the xylem and phloem, then the vascular bundles are called. This portion is related to anatomy of flowering plants. Anatomy. What is anatomy? Especially plant anatomy. Anatomy is the branch of botany. Plant anatomy is a branch of botany. Here we studied the internal structure of a plant or its organ like leaves, stems, root, etc. Then in anatomy or anatomy of flowering plants, we mainly study the anatomy of dicot, angiospermic plant, dicot and monocot plant. Then plant having certain anatomical characters, peculiar anatomical characters, they are used in the taxonomical classification. Higher plants, they having advanced anatomical characters or organizations. Then primitive plants, they lack these characters. Then here the two cells, xylem and phloem, and also there is cambium, vascular cambium. Xylem, phloem, these are conducting cells or conducting tissues. They are complex tissues. They are made up of or which consist many components such as parenchyma, fibers, sieve tube, companion cells, etc. So here, when we saw an anatomical character of a plant part, especially in stem, there is a cambium which is present in between xylem and phloem. In the case of stem, generally the vascular bundles are conjoined, collateral, open or closed with endark xylem. Conjoined, collateral, open or closed with endark xylem. In the case of root, vascular bundles are radial with exarch xylem. So there are many terms: conjoined, collateral, endark, exarch, radial. What is conjoined? In a conjoined vascular bundle, xylem and phloem, X means xylem, B phloem, they are arranged in same radius. Same radius. When we take a cross section of a stem, there is a circular in nature. Then in this circle, there is a line from the center to the periphery, which is known as a radius. When we take a radius, if there is a xylem is present, then there should be a phloem also. So xylem and phloem, they are arranged in same radius, then it is known as conjoined vascular bundle. That is particularly seen in the stem. Then what is collateral? Here, xylem, this one is the central side, then this one is the periphery. In the collateral vascular bundle, xylem towards the center, phloem towards the periphery. Within a vascular bundle, xylem is arranged towards the center, phloem is towards the periphery, then the vascular bundle is known as collateral. The next one is open and closed. If a vascular bundle is open, which means there is a meristematic tissue which is present in between xylem and phloem. What is a meristem? Meristematic tissue, which means the tissue having divisional capacity, meristos, continuously divided. If a meristematic tissue which is present in between xylem and phloem, they are known as open vascular bundle. If it is absent, then it is known as closed vascular bundle. Open vascular bundle is the characteristic feature of dicot stem. Closed vascular bundle is the characteristics of monocot stem. Some dicot that is characterized, dicot stem that is characterized with the open vascular bundle. Then monocot, there is a closed vascular bundle. The next one is radial. What is meant by radial? It is the unique character of root. So radial, which means xylem and phloem, they are arranged in different radii. Xylem and phloem, they are arranged in different radii, which is known as radial vascular bundle. That means when we take the cross section of a root, if we get a xylem in one radius, then phloem is in another radius. Xylem next radius, phloem is in another radius. Xylem is in another radius, phloem is also another radius. That means xylem and phloem, they are arranged in different radius, which is known as radial vascular bundle. And xylem, because of xylem and phloem, they are arranged in alternate manner. The number of xylem and phloem bundles are same. If it has two xylem, then there is obviously two phloem group also present. So radial vascular bundle is the character of a root here. Xylem and phloem, they are arranged in different radius. The next one is endark and exarch condition. Endark and exarch. The xylem element based on the position of protoxylem and metaxylem. Protoxylem and metaxylem. What is the difference between protoxylem and metaxylem? Protoxylem is the first formed xylem having small cavity. Metaxylem is the later formed xylem having large cavity. In an endark condition, metaxylem and protoxylem, they are arranged. Metaxylem towards the periphery, protoxylem towards the center. In a xylem group, metaxylem towards the periphery and protoxylem towards the center, that is known as endark condition. Then exarch condition, here protoxylem is towards the periphery, metaxylem is towards the center. So in the case of root, the metaxylem is towards the center and the protoxylem towards the periphery. In the case of stem, metaxylem towards the periphery and the protoxylem towards the center. That means the arrangement of protoxylem and metaxylem in stem is endark and root is exarch. That's why the vascular bundle of root is radial and exarch condition. The vascular bundle of stem is conjoined collateral open and open or closed and endark condition. So here the dicot stem having conjoined collateral open vascular bundle with the endark xylem, monocot stem having conjoined collateral closed vascular bundle with endark xylem. This condition is also seen in the leaf also. So monocot stem and leaf, they have a conjoined collateral closed with endark xylem. Dicot stem conjoined collateral open with endark xylem. And the vascular bundle, characteristics of vascular bundle of root is conjoined, not conjoined, radial and exarch xylem. So our question is, when the vascular cambium is present between the xylem and phloem, then the vascular bundle is called open vascular bundle. Answer is D. Okay, got it? So moving to next question. Select the correctly matched pair of organism with their order. It is from the first chapter, that is the living world. Living world. Within the living world, there is binomial nomenclature, then taxonomic category, taxonomic classification, taxonomic hierarchy. According to taxonomic hierarchy, there are 7 obligate category. There are 7 obligate category. There are 7 obligate category from base to the highest. From the species to kingdom, they are species, genus, family, order, class, division or phylum, and the kingdom. So, species is the base of the category, kingdom is the highest category. Lowest category is species, kingdom is the highest category. Then, division and phylum. Division, the term division generally used in the plant classification, and the phylum is used in animal classification. So in an animal taxonomic hierarchy, species, genus, family, order, class, then phylum and kingdom. But in plant categorization, species, genus, family, order, class, then division and kingdom. Then from species to kingdom, what are the characters? From species to kingdom, similarity among organism. This one is very important. From species to kingdom, the similarity among organism in that group increases or decreases. It is decreases. The similarity among organism decreases. From species to kingdom, the similarity among organism decreases. A group of species, they have more similarity compared to a kingdom category. Then, from species to kingdom, the similarity among organism decreases. Because of that, the complexity of classification increases. So the species, from species to kingdom, similarity among organism decreases and the complexity of classification increases. Then based on or considered by human beings or about human beings, our species name is Homo sapiens. But Homo sapiens is a binomial nomenclature name or scientific name. Among these, it contains 2 words, 2 Latin words, Homo and sapiens. Here, sapiens which refer the species name and Homo genus name. So, Homo sapiens, their species is sapiens, species name is sapiens, and the genus is Homo. Then similarly, another organism, tiger, Panthera tigris. Here Panthera is the genus name and tigris is the species name. Mangifera indica, mango tree. Mangifera indica. Mangifera is the genus name, indica is the species name. Musca domestica. Musca is the genus name, domestica is the species name. So, according to binomial nomenclature, there are scientific name with 2 Greek or Latin words. The first word is genus and the second word is species. Now our question is, select the correctly matched pair of organism with their order. So, here the first species, Homo sapiens, they are coming under the order Poales. Poales is an order, okay, but Poales is a plant taxonomic category order. Poales is an order, The plant, they are coming under a Poaceae family. Then there is a Triticum aestivum like wheat plant. So Homo sapiens poates order that. It's the wrong answer. Then Triticum aestivum, then Sapindales. Sapindales is an order. Anacardiaceae like group, they are coming under the Sapindales. Mangifera indica, they are coming under Sapindales. So Triticum aestivum coming under poates. It's also wrong. Mangifera indica primata. Primata is an order of human beings. So Homo sapiens, they are coming under primata. Mangifera indica, they are coming under Sapindales. So it's also wrong. It's not a musa, it is Musca domestica. Musca domestica. House fly. Musca domestica, they are coming under the order that is Diptera. Musca domestica, Mangifera indica, Triticum indica, and Homo sapiens. There are 4 organs. According to NCERT, there is a chart. So select the correctly matched pair with the pair of organisms with their order. Answer is right. Answer is D. Musca domestica, and the order is Diptera. Order is Diptera. Homo sapiens. The order of Homo sapiens is Primata or Primata. Answer is D. Then moving to the next question. The complex which is formed by a pair of synapsed homologous chromosomes. A pair of synapsed homologous chromosomes. We already taught that chromosomes, then synapses, then recombination, then chiasma formation, etc. And these processes are present only in one type of division, that is reduction division, meiotic division. Generally, a chromosome having 2 chromatids, These chromatids are cylindrical shaped structure, and they are formed by the condensation of chromatin reticulum. So here are 2 chromosomes. These 2 chromosomes are homologous chromosome. What is homologous chromosome? Homologous chromosomes are 2 chromosomes having same gene location. Same gene locus or same gene location. So it has 6 gene. It also has 6 gene, and the chromosomes, they are dispersed in correct or exact correct location. These 2 are homologous chromosome. Each chromosome of a homologous chromosome, having 2 chromatids, and it is known as sister chromatids. So these 2 are sister chromatid of the chromosome number 1, which is coming from one parent, it is coming from father. And these 2 are sister chromatid of the second chromosome, which is coming from mother. So here the blue color chromosome, that is coming from mother, and the red color chromosome coming from father. Then during the meiotic division, for the formation of gamete formation, before the recombination, there is a process that is known as synapsis. Synapsis is the pairing of non-sister chromatid of homologous chromosomes. So these 2 are homologous chromosome. It has its own sister chromatid, but there is a non-sister chromatid. So this chromatid and this chromatid, these are non-sister chromatid. So these two non-sister chromatids, these chromosomes are adjoined with a cementing material, or it is a protein that is known as synaptonymal complex. This is synaptonymal complex which adhere the two homologous chromosome of their non-sister chromatids. So non-sister chromatids. So synapses occur or pairing occur between non-sister chromatids of a homologous chromosome that leads to the formation of two chromosomes. They are joined together, and this condition is known as bivalent, or when it is clearly appeared, it is known as tetrad. So tetrad or bivalent. So after the synaptonymal complex is formed and the synapsis takes place, the chromosome is called bivalent. The term bivalent or tetrad, that is uses only in the meiotic division. In the mitotic division, there is no bivalent or tetrad formation. Meiotic division is the characteristic. The characteristic feature of a meiotic division is the bivalent formation or tetrad formation. So after synapsis, the chromosome is said to be bivalent. So when we consider a human cell which undergo meiotic division, after zygote, there is how many tetrads are formed? In our cells, there are diploid number of chromosome is 46 or 23 pair. So, before the synapsis, there are 46 chromosomes are independently presented. After synapsis, it becomes 23 pair. Each pair is said to be bivalent. So, 23 bivalent is present. So, the complex formed by a pair of synapsid homologous chromosome is called bivalent. Answer is bivalent. Option A. Clear? Then moving to the next question. Bamboo species. What are the characteristics of bamboo species? Bamboo is a grass type plant, and it is growing as a tree, but it is coming under grasses family. Then the most important characteristics of this bamboo plant is their flowering character. Flowering character. Each species of a plant, they have its own characteristic flowering character. And based on that, they are categorized. Based on the flowering character, they are categorized into many groups. They may be annuals, biennials, then multennials or perennials, etc. Actually, the annual, biennial, perennial, etc. based on the lifespan. Based on the lifespan of the plant, they are categorized into annuals, biennials, and perennials or multennials. Based on the flowering character, they are classified into polycarpic and monocarpic. Monocarpic or polycarpic. So some of the plant they are monocarpic. Some of the plants or many of the plants they are polycarpic. Monocarpic plant. If a plant is said to be monocarpic, which means these plant flower only once in their lifetime. The plant which flower only once in their lifetime. Then those plants which flower many or seasonally they flower. If they flower seasonally, then it is known as polycarpic. Example, mango trees. Every season. Their lifespan there is they flower many times. But wheat plant, rice plant, etc., they flower only once in their lifetime. And they are growing, their lifespan is only 1 year or below the 1 year, they are said to be annual. So wheat, rice, etc., they are monocarpic annual plants. Cabbage plant, they are actually living in 2 seasons or 2 years. So first year they grow vegetatively and the second year they grow reproductively. So biennial plants, they are monocarpic biennial plants like a cabbage. Then perennial plants like mango trees, many years, they grow many years. But the characteristics of bamboo plant is they are perennial. They lived more than 40 to 50 years, but they flower only once in their lifetime. They flower only once in their lifetime and they grow many years, then it is known as perennial and also monocarpic. Perennial monocarpic plant. So perennial polycarpic plant, then perennial monocarpic plant, then annual polycarpic plant, then annual monocarpic, biennial monocarpic plants, etc. Here, bamboo species flowers once in their lifetime. That means they are a perennial monocarpic plants. And after that, after the flowering, these bamboo species become dead. Then twice in 500 to 50 to 100 years. No, their actual lifespan is up to 50 years. Then once in 12 years, that is Strobilanthus plant, Neela Kurini. Then bamboo species flowers once in their lifetime. Answer is A. Okay, got it? Clear? Moving to the next question. Match the column 1 with column 2, select the option with correct combination, and these portions they are coming from transport in plants. The first year chapter, transport in plants. Hypertonic capillarity, symport guttation. Hypertonic and hypotonic solution. Hypertonic and hypotonic solution. A solution is said to be hypertonic or hypotonic, that is based on the tonicity. What is tonicity or osmotic concentration? That means how much solute molecules are dissolved in that solution. So if the concentration of solute molecules, dissolved molecule is very high, then the solution is said to be hypertonic. The osmotic concentration is very high, then it is known as hypertonic solution. Then just opposite, there is a hypotonic solution also. Hypertonic and hypotonic. If a 10% solution compared to a 3% solution, 100 ml of 10% solution and 100 ml of 3% solution, when it is compared with each other, the 10% solution is hypertonic and the 3% solution is hypotonic. So tonicity, which refer the number of solute molecules which is dissolved in a solution. Then capillarity. Capillarity, it is the ability of water. Capillarity, it is the ability of water to rise in a thin tube. If water is entered into a thin tube, it has a tendency to rise up. That tendency or ability is known as capillarity. So it is the ability of water to rise in a thin tube that is known as capillarity. Then symport, then antiport. Symport, antiport, then uniport. These three processes are passive transportation through a membrane. If there is a membrane and there is a carrier, this carrier allows the movement of molecules according to the concentration gradient. So, if a solute move from one to higher concentrated area to low concentrated area. So, if the concentration of A, molecule A, it is higher in the left region and it is lower in right region, so that membrane allow the movement of molecule with the help of that protein. So, these molecules move from here to here or here to there. Their movement is known as a passive movement. Along with this, allow the movement of another molecule also according to their concentration gradient. There are two type of molecule move from same direction according to concentration gradient, that is known as symport. Then these two type of molecule cross the membrane according to the concentration gradient in opposite direction. If these two molecules move according to concentration gradient or in opposite direction is known as antiport. And there are many substances and their concentration gradient is present, but one molecule move without considering the concentration of other molecule, that is known as uniport. So symport, what is symport? Symport means two molecules move in the same direction across the membrane is known as symport. Then guttation, it's another physiological phenomenon which is known as guttation. Guttation and transpiration, these two processes are loss of water. Guttation and transpiration, it is the loss of water from a plant body. Guttation is the loss of water as water molecule. Transpiration, it is the loss of water as water vapor. This transpiration occur through stomata, then this guttation occur through the hydatodes. It is the stomata-like opening. Guttation takes place through the hydatodes, transpiration takes place through the stomata. So, guttation is the loss of water occur through the hydatodes as water molecules. It is mainly due to root pressure. Transpiration, it is due to transpiration pulling effect. It is also the loss of water as water vapor through the stomata. Generally, this takes place during daytime. Guttation takes place during dark or night period. So guttation is the loss, water loss in the form of water droplet. Generally, monocot plants like grasses or small herbaceous monocot, they show guttation. But transpiration, all the plants exhibit transpiration, and transpiration generally it is known as a necessary evil. It is the most important phenomenon, and also it affects predominantly plant. That means it affects the loss of water. Then match the column 1 with the column 2. Hypertonic solution. If the external solution is more concentrated than cell sap, if the external, this one is a cell and within the cell there is a cell sap, then outer there is a solution. This one is more concentrated, that means solute potential is very high. This one is solute potential is very low. Then this one is known as hypertonic and the outer solution is known as hypertonic. If the external solution is more concentrated than the cells of the outer solution is known as hypertonic. That means 1Q. Capillarity, it is the ability of water to rise in a thin tube, 2S. Symport, it is the movement of two molecules moving in the same direction across the membrane, 3P. Guttation is the loss of water in the form of droplet, 4R. So answer is QSPR. QSPR. Option C. The right answer is option C. Okay. Moving to the next question. Primary endosperm nucleus. It is formed by the fusion of. We already talked about the embryo sac and endosperm, then primary endosperm nucleus, etc. Primary endosperm nucleus, it is the immediate product of the fusion of two nucleus or fusion of the nucleus present in the center cells and the male gamete. After the releasing of the male gamete, one of the male gamete fuse with the egg cells that form zygote. Then the another male nucleus which is fused with the two polar nucleus, or before that the two polar nucleus fused to form a secondary nucleus. The secondary nucleus fused with the male nucleus to form a triploid primary endosperm nucleus. That triploid endosperm nucleus is then converted into endosperm. So primary endosperm is primary endosperm nucleus is formed by the fusion of two polar nuclei and one male gamete. Option B. One polar nucleus and male gamete, it is not. That is not triple fusion. Here the process is known as triple fusion. Ovum and male gamete is syngamy. Two polar nucleus and two male gamete. No, there is only one male gamete. The another male gamete is fused with egg cells. So primary endosperm nucleus is formed by the fusion of two polar nucleus and one male gamete. So the answer is option B. Okay, clear.